Now this video is step by step. It's progressing and directing. This is part 2 of the progress chart or progressing the chart. Excuse me. Yeah. And I'm going to talk about arcs in progression or arcs in progressing to find when in the future will the progression fulfill the promise of the natal chart. So it's about how to progress or direct. Now let me start with arcs. The first house, or the house chart, meaning wheel with houses, is round and has cusps separating the 12 houses. And those areas are arcs. When we direct a planet or cusps to get to the aspect we're looking for, it's an arc of direction. In other words, we want to know when something is going to happen. So we're going into the future. And you can say that an aspect is going to happen when a planet such as the moon, referred to as a planet in this reading or in this lesson, completes its trine to a certain planet, another planet. Or in a progression chart, you want to know when the success or your goal is reached. So we have to look at the ascendant or any cusp you are interested in, and you direct the planet or progress. A lot of people will say progress the cusp and arc accordingly. Remember that the house cusps move. In the progression of natal charts, we progress the sun, a major arc, or the minor arc, the moon. And what we're doing is taking the difference between the sun in the natal chart and the sun in the progress chart. You do that with the moon. This has to do with the speed of the sun that travels at 0 degrees, 59 minutes and 8 seconds. And moon travels at 13 degrees, 11 minutes. And you can add about 1 degree or 1 degree and 6 minutes a month for the moon for progression. And that's how you can calculate it. But really, you can use the computer for that. You can use a solar arc or even a Naibat arc. So it is a way to isolate a planet to its desired destination or aspect. You can also progress the house or the houses, and that's generally done to confirm the completion of the aspects. For instance, if you want to know when you will marry or meet your future partner, well, there has to be an aspect with the seventh house ruler, Venus, and you. That means Venus is a planet separately from the 7th house ruler, may and may not be Venus. So if it is your second marriage, then you look at the 9th house. Your objective in doing so is to figure out when something will happen in the future. Let's look at a horary chart, and we can see how this when to demonstrate this. I'm demonstrating when by using a horary chart, because direction and progressions are widely used to determine when something will come about. One thing I just thought about is when a planet, including the moon, changes sign and cannot complete or what we call perfect the aspect, then the matter will be dropped. For instance, a couple that has been married for a while ends up in a divorce. And you can ask a horary question, or you can read your progress chart to see what is happening. If one planet is retrograde or changes signs and another planet goes direct by progression and the ascendant also changes sign, then you need to keep a sharp eye on all of that. Let's say that ascendant is Aquarius. Here's confirmation that divorce is imminent. The planet going direct will likely move on and retrograde planet gets left behind. So let me demonstrate to you the concept of progressing and directing and how it works. This is a horary chart. The person asking the question is represented by the Moon, Mercury, Uranus, and Mars. Yes, a lot going on. She is a store manager who wants to know if the new district manager will fire her. She is in detriment by being in Capricorn, but her other ruler, Mars, is exalted. Notice that the Moon is separating from Mars. Moon is in an early degree, but applying to trine Uranus in the first house. She can stand her ground, but Uranus is detrimented in Taurus and in the dark side of the first house by being in Taurus instead of Aries. You notice that the ascendant sign is Aries, yet the planet there is in Taurus. I'm talking about Uranus. That shows that is what we call the dark side. So she's in the dark, as indicated by Uranus, confirmed by the Moon in detriment, separating from a malefic Mars, both in the ninth house of the future. The Moon, however, will be completing the trine to Uranus. She is worried because the Moon is in Capricorn, indicating worries. And she has little confidence by being in detriment in a cadent house with Mars. There was trouble at the store indicated by Mars. And remember that they're separating. And that really doesn't matter in this case, except that I'm just making that statement. The Moon will move into the 10th to conjunct Jupiter in its fall by house and sign. See, when Moon is in its fall, and it's already, I'm sorry, my mistake. Moon is already in detriment by being Capricorn. And when it enters the 10th house, it is doubly in detriment. So, however, no matter how stressed Jupiter, see, because it's going to conjunct Jupiter, but however, no matter how stressed, Jupiter will meet you more than halfway because it is a higher benefic. Nothing higher than Jupiter. So I am progressing the Moon after it completes its trine to Uranus and Venus, then completes its conjunction to Jupiter. Then in the 10th house, the Moon will be in detriment by house, as mentioned earlier. So the district manager arrived without notice. So I guess the district manager would have been in that vicinity or that place. And in a few days or so, the meeting took place. In a week to 10 days, even though he arrived earlier. She did not get fired, but as you can see, the Moon will conjunct Pluto and Saturn. And who does Saturn represent? It rules the 10th house, the boss. Venus and Mercury in this chart, because it's a horary chart, rules the meeting. I progress the Moon to Venus, and Venus will be in the first house within a week. This is just to show you how progressing or directing works. You have to progress it to see when. And even though there is a wide orb there, but Venus is there. So I hope you got something out of there. But this is how progressing and directing works. And in horary, this is common because we're looking for the when. Well,